Hello everyone. In this video, we are going to focus on Chapter 3, Writing a Literature Review. First of all, let's have a look at the outcomes of our chapter. At the end of the chapter, you will understand how researchers choose the research topic. You will be able to understand the types, steps, and purpose of the literature review. You will identify the sources and the types of information and their values, and you will be able to organize the literature systematically while reading and writing it. First of all, in order to determine a research topic, in order to identify a research topic, to be honest, there is no particular strategy for students and researchers to choose a research topic. As researchers, you have past experiences and you can use your past experiences to find a research topic. Also, you can refer to theories, you can analyze them, you can examine them deeply, and you can identify some research topics based on the theories. In addition to that, you can also benefit from some replication studies. As you know, some studies were conducted in the past, and as the time changed and in different contexts with different participants groups, it is possible to conduct the similar studies. So the replication studies can also be a good research topic for you as researchers. After deciding on your topic, you may have some sources that may be useful to search for your research topic. First of all, you can have a look at the textbooks. These are the major sources for your research topics. Secondly, you can examine the scholarly literature. You can have a look at the articles. You can have a look at journals and some other scholarly materials, and especially some articles and journals may contain some lists of particular cases. For example, some journals focus on wars, some journals focus on crises, and you can also refer to some scholarly websites to find information about your research topics. In addition to that, you can visit the websites of some respected international organizations such as IMF and United Nations, or you can visit the websites of some government agencies such as Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and you can also refer to almanacs and books that contain helpful listings. And then, after having a look at all these sources, you may start the literature review process, which is basically defined as the process of reading and reviewing published scholarships in the field. And of course, you need to have a very clear purpose in your mind to identify the field and specific context in which your topic is located. You also decide which research and methodology will be adapted in your research topic. You will also deepen your knowledge related to the research topic, and in your mind, you need to have the fact that to avoid repeating previous studies is also a major aim in your literature review. Also, you aim to discover the key people, organizations, and papers related to your research topic. And with these clear purposes, you start the literature review process. And to perform an efficient literature review, of course, we have some steps. The first one is identification of research question. You may remember from your previous chapters, you decide on your topic and then you write or construct some research questions which are appropriate for your research study, qualitative or quantitative. After identifying your research questions, you select the databases and the sources you are going to benefit. Are you going to focus on books, almanacs, or journals, or scientific websites? You select them very carefully. And after that, you specify some key terms which are parallel to your research topic. And based on these key terms, you apply practical screening criteria. And you apply methodological screening criteria, and you screen all these sources. And then you do your review you read them, you analyze them, and after this review process, you synthesize the results of your literature review. And for sources of information for your literature search, it's a kind of discovering useful materials that will be included or excluded from your literature review. And to get this information, you can talk to an expert, you can get the expert opinion, you can refer to encyclopedias, you can benefit from statistics, you can refer to books, and in this era, more importantly, you can use the internet as the source of information. But for the internet, you need to be careful about some principles, whether the websites you are visiting are the authority in your research topic. Do they present accurate knowledge to you? Are they objective enough for your scientific study? Are the knowledge or is the information in the website current for your research study, and whether its coverage is sufficient for your research topic? Authority, accuracy, objectivity, currency, and coverage are the important criteria for the websites you are going to visit. And of course, there are a lot of sources on the internet, especially related with international affairs, and there are a lot of lists of those sources in the chapter. For example, on page 75, you can see the online databases. On page 76 and 77, you can see the catalogs related with international affairs. And there are some university repositories on page 78. And especially the periodicals, the journals are very important. And you can find the journals related with international affairs on page 79. And also sometimes there are some sources that are really difficult to find, which are called as the gray literature, and you can reach a list of the gray literature on page 80. And after getting all these sources, all this information, now it's time to organize your literature review. And it refers to the process of finding the relevant parts, reading them, and writing up your literature. For that, you have 4 main steps. In the first part, you prepare the summary sheets or article abstracts. You have a lot of sources, you have a lot of books, articles, and it's strongly suggested that you prepare a kind of summary, a kind of short abstract for each of these studies and sources. After having the summaries of them, now it's time to review, as the second step, review the summary sheets or article abstracts. Then you collect those summaries and then you review them one by one as the second step. And in step 3, you decide how you can organize your literature review. Are you going to focus on each of them, or you will start from the general, come to the specific? As a researcher, you have to decide on the organization of your literature review. And finally, after deciding on your organization and with the summaries you have in your hand, you begin writing your literature review using the analysis you made in the first 3 steps. And when we have a look at the literature and the studies in international affairs and also in all other fields, we can meet some common errors and problems in writing a literature review. For example, sometimes we have uncertain purposes. We read the literature, but we do not understand its purpose. You need to be careful about it. Secondly, we have sometimes a vague introduction and poor organization. For example, it starts with a general statement, then comes to specific, then again a very general statement. I mean, you can see that the organization is very poor. For this reason, you need to be careful about the organization of your literature review. Sometimes you cannot find enough information in the review, and you may fail to connect the message with the context. And most of the literature reviews are not critical enough. You need to be critical while writing your literature review as well. And your literature review should also tell the reader where to go. When you start your literature review, towards the end of it, you need to take your reader to your research point. For this reason, from the very beginning to the end, your organization in your literature review should be very clear and to the point. And in this session, we made a brief summary of how to find the research topic and how to reach the sources before writing a literature review. We also focused on the steps on how to write a literature review, and we also briefly mentioned about the common mistakes in writing a literature review.